So that saints, don't take it lightly, the things that God sends us. We are a chosen generation. God has chosen us for some mighty works. So don't take the things that we do very lightly. The things that we do are really sent by God to prepare us for some things that are coming down the road. I want to also give a praise report. The Lord blessed our church with a spraying and a fogging, which is a protection and prevention against the coronavirus. So our church has been fogged and sprayed inside in all of the rooms. We just thank God for that. I want to remind you all of your homework for next week. Next week is our witnessing class. Your first homework assignment was to memorize the 6 steps of salvation. If you haven't done that, now you still need to do it. And then your second assignment was to witness to 3 saints using those 6 steps of salvation. Don't take this work lightly that God is giving us. He has a plan. He has a plan in mind, and we just need to do one step at a time, do what they do. I would like for us to continue to support our children. Sister Nathan is going to be working with you, and you're going to hear more from her about working with our children because they have a severe need, and they are going through, the school system is going through. And we would like to take care of our children so they won't be left behind. So you'll hear more from her. It's going to be an extension of our homework Monday. But you'll hear more of her coming to you, talking to you. Right? So if we're going to change her and put her in that position, we need somebody else to step up into the sick and shut-in role that she's been kind of intervening on behalf. So if anybody feel like the Lord is touching their heart to just, even if it's not to lead, but just to support that work, please let us know. We need that. And we ask for continued support to Latoya and Laterica as they work our Meet a Need with a Need program. It is working. God is already sanctioning the things that people need, and people are getting things that they need, and people are giving things that they don't even have. We even had a young lady yesterday to make a donation to the church in monetary, because she heard that the church was going through with the laptops and things. So God is moving by His power. This is outreach. We're already doing outreach with these programs. It's just a different way that God has us doing outreach. For you that are waiting to get involved, this is outreach. It's time to get involved right now. We need you now. So without further ado, God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. We're going to turn into one of our technology representatives, Ayana Nathan, to take on the service tonight. God bless you.
I always forget when I'm in my meetings, I have to unmute myself to talk. So I wanted to say hello to everyone. I'm glad for all of you that decided to stay on and join our technology workshop. We have, I'm not going to bore you tonight. You're going to find out some information, interesting information. The last time we were in session, we learned a lot about the internet, some of the basics of the internet. We talked about things pertaining to, I'm here, sure you guys can see me okay. Some of the basics of the internet, what a browser is, what email is. A lot of times people would get the internet, email and websites mixed up. And I wanted to make sure that we got a solid foundation to understand the differences of all of those actual, types of technologies. And it's really, I know it can be confusing at times. Our intention was not to make, run through it and then expect you to have it all. We totally understand that everybody's not going to get it all at once. That's why we do have a lot of things planned for you guys in the future. So this is something you don't have to worry about. We will be giving more trainings in the future. I'm going to ask that everyone, please mute your lines if you are unless you have a question, because when you do not mute, it actually kind of interferes with the broadcast. So I'm going to ask that you all please mute your lines at this time. And then, of course, if you want to ask a question, if you're only on audio, you can press *6. If you are on Zoom, of course, just click on the microphone icon. And if you're on audio and you're not too savvy with moving around the computer to watch it on another device, it's being recorded. So we will make sure that everyone has access to this. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. You will be able to review this at a later date. So just a quick housekeeping thing. I'm going to ask Lady Nathan to log out as my ID and log in with hers because I need that as part of my demonstration tonight. So, all right. All right. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Tonight, hopefully you can see the screen. We're going to talk about some technology definitions, a little bit of history, same thing we did last time, but also here's some fun facts. Three of the topics that I wanted to talk about because they relate very much to how we utilize technology in our ministry to keep all of you connected. That's mobile apps, that's social media, live stream. So all of these have a direct connection, a direct tie or relevance to what we do within our ministry to keep everyone connected. And so with that, I'll go over a little bit of fun tidbits and facts and history. And then after that, we'll go ahead and see exactly how does this all relate to true holiness. Okay. All right. So first topic, mobile apps. I decided to switch it up this time. I didn't want to jump right into the history, and I thought about it. Let's give a definition so you know what the item or the technology is, and then we'll give a little bit of history around it. So with mobile apps, what we're looking at there is we have a computer program. The last time in our last session, we talked about software, where people design and program things on the computer. A mobile app is still software. It's no different. The only difference is as far as like the development language that they're using to design the software, it's for a mobile device. So instead of being for a computer like your PC, your laptop, or your desktop that sits on your desk, it's actually for a mobile device. That is a cell phone or a tablet. Okay. Or smartphone, we call them smartphones, and we probably should use that terminology because when you start talking about flip phones and the original cell phone that was like big as your forearm, that we're not talking about that. We're talking about the smartphones, the tablets. They even have smart watches. So watches that kind of connect to your phone and allow you to do all sorts of things. So that's what a mobile app is. Mobile app is kind of like just short for mobile application. And the words are kind of inherent in the name of it. In layman's terms, it's a computer program. It allows you to interact as a human with your mobile phone or mobile device for a special purpose. Some mobile apps are for exercise and health, and you can keep track of your health. So they're going to design that all around the benefits of keeping track of your health and making sure you're eating the right things, you're doing the right exercises. Some apps are designed around productivity, like your calendar, your notes, and your contacts, things of that nature. Other apps are designed around entertainment games. So an app can be designed just like a software application for anything. Okay. So where did mobile apps come from? I struggled a little bit sometimes with this because one thing I learned is that you really can't talk about a mobile app unless you're talking about a phone, because an app doesn't exist obviously without a mobile device. So let me go to the next slide here. Just a small timeline. If you Google or if you go online on the internet and try to search for the timeline of mobile apps, you can get all sorts of stuff. I like simplicity. And so I wanted to get the simplest type of timeline and show you how it interweaves with the cell phones that we use today. So in the early 1900s, or not, I'm sorry, not early, but late 1900s, IBM comes out with that first mobile product. It kind of paved the way for the smartphones and things of that nature. Then if you guys recall, like in the 2000s, you heard of the BlackBerry. The BlackBerry was like this phone. All the business users had this BlackBerry. And it was basically a mobile phone. It was almost like a Palm Pilot, but the next generation of a Palm Pilot. And again, it was for productivity, but you could, starting out calendar, notes, and contacts, you could send messages to people on it. So there's software there to send messages, contacts, things in that nature. And then, of course, it evolved into the BlackBerry phone. And then you have in the early 2000s, Apple, and they came out with their iPhone. Now, in between there, it was hard to find this, but there are like some smartphones that came out even before Apple, but they were very, very early and the design wasn't as advanced. I think Steve Jobs definitely gets a lot of the credit for the vision of mobile apps and how we access them today. He's the one who kind of saw a store of apps where you can download it and get some for free and things of that nature. And then of course they come into 2008 with the App Store, and that kind of just changed the whole landscape. Soon after that, you find Google Play Store, Windows, Microsoft Windows, they have an App Store. What is it? Amazon, they have an App Store, believe it or not. So there are a lot of app stores and things out there. Now, I wanted to show you a little bit of a little bit of a different topic here, but it ties together. You have these cell phone networks. All of us hear about 4G, 5G, the fastest network, Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint's no more, but T-Mobile, they're all talking about 4G, 5G. If you look at the evolution of these phones, look at these phones here. We have like 1G, which is way back in 1981. Of course, there was no software or for user, human interface there. You dial in a number, you may be able to save some, and that's about it, right? Then you get to the flip phone. Again, we have the special ringers, we have the contacts you can save and things of that nature. 2001, you have the BlackBerry, which is really, really popular, and then it just kind of faded out almost once the iPhone came on the market in 2010. And then, of course, 5G, we're going to see what the next, I think iPhone is still, and Androids are still kind of running the market on phones, but that's kind of where we are today. What I wanted to point out is with the evolution of the phone, you see that's when, the earliest types of mobile applications probably started here on the BlackBerry. Then, of course, it really became what we know it as today once the iPhone came in, which is why for all of you Android users, iPhones are better, but I won't go there. One thing I wanted to educate you on is like the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. G is just stands for generation. It's nothing technical. It's just talking about the generation of the cell phone or cellular networks and how fast they can process data on the cell phones, from the cell phones to the satellites and things of that nature. And so here are the different speeds, and this speed, 2.4, it's really 2.4, it's not 2.4 kilobits per second. Don't worry about the measurement, just understand it's really fast, at least at that time. That's associated with 1G. 64 kilobits is associated with 2G. We're going to need someone to mute their line because there's some kind of echo. Unless you have a question, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, 3G is associated with 2 megabits, which is a little bit bigger now, and then 100 megabits, and everybody's going crazy over 5G, 10 gigabits per second. If you remember anything about our system of measurement, kilo is okay, it's big, mega is even bigger, and then giga is even bigger. So that's kind of where we are in today. And of course, the more advanced these networks are, the more advanced our apps are going to be. They're going to be able to do more, process more, the whole nine. So I wanted to kind of show you a little bit about from the timeline and how that relates to the development of our cell phones, because it was really hard to find something that just showed purely, the cell phones and the mobile apps together. So I kind of pieced together that for you. But I mean, when you talk about mobile applications, they exist because of a mobile phone. They date back to the end of the 20th century, like I said. And you had the original intention of the productivity, but then at the beginning of the 21st century, That's when we're starting getting into games and GPS, global positioning systems, where you can find directions. You know, the Garmin, remember Garmin is one of the earlier models. People ordering things online, like ticket purchases, food, and all sorts of other uses. So just like desktop computers, mobile phones also have a software that tells it how to operate. So you have your mobile apps that allow the human interaction. Then you have what they call a mobile operating system. And it's still an operating system, just like our desktop. We talked about that in the last seminar. And an operating system is really, it tells the computer, it gives it instructions on how to interact with the applications that are installed on it. So you can have an application for a calendar, an application for a game, an application for keeping up with your health. You need something like the brains of the operation to know when to pull it up, when to put it back, when to close it, when to pull information out of those applications. That's what your operating system does. Windows has one, Android by Google has one, Apple has one. Those are the three. There are, of course, are others, but those are the three main operating systems. So I just kind of wanted you to kind of get I'm just speaking some of these notes out because I don't want to bore you with a bunch of text, but just kind of understand that there's a lot behind what we just click and pick on our screen. It's not much, right? You think there's not much there, but there's so much technology behind these things. Two of the main platforms that you can get your applications from, one you see here on the screen is like the App Store. There's another one for Google, and that's called the Play Store. Windows has another one. I mentioned that earlier. Android has them, but I'm sorry, Amazon. But the main two you will see most people will develop for the Apple App Store and for the Google Play Store. And so some of them are free. Some of the apps are free. The app we have for our church is free. Some of them you have to pay a one-time fee. Sometimes you have to pay a subscription. But, there's millions of them out there. So, and I'm giving away a little secret there. So just kind of pick that up. But you can, there's something for everyone there. So I want to ask, let me see, a fun fact at this time. If you are able to, please unmute your lines and throw out some guesses for how many mobile apps are there on the planet. So this is in the entire world. Just take a wild guess. I already gave part of it away. I said millions. So, don't come with the 100,000s or something like that. Come strong. So some people, anyone, go ahead and unmute and take a wild guess. Nobody's going to take a guess?
10 million.
Close. Anyone else?
5.
5 million?
No, 5.
Okay, never mind. See, we always got the jokester in the
2
class.
million.
How many?
2 million.
2 million, Pastor Wells?
Yes.
Okay, so we have 10 million. Someone, the jokester says 5. Anyone else want to take a guess? And no searching to figure it out. No? Okay. Roughly 9 million. Roughly.
I wasn't joking. I was serious.
You were not close to at all. Actually, your better half was. So there are close to 9 million apps in the world. I mean, and that's across all platforms. Believe it or not, China has a very, very large chunk of that. I mean, they account for a huge chunk. They're starting to build their app. And China's very, very protective of a lot of what their citizens see. So they don't even have access to a lot of the apps that we have on this side of the world. So they do a lot of their own development. But if you take all of them into consideration, it's close to 9 million. Got another fun fact, so keep your lines unmuted. What's the average number of mobile apps released each month? The first one is going to be for the App Store. So I'm only talking about Apple and Google because, or Android phones, because that's what most of us have, an Android or a Google phone or Apple phone. So anyone want to take a guess for the average number of mobile apps released just each month? So when I say released, I mean some software developer has developed or designed a mobile app and put it on the Apple App Store. Anyone want to take a guess?
2,000.
Per month? Okay, that's a good guess. Anyone else? Thousands is right, so stay in the thousands. I'll tell you that much. No single digits, Pastor Nathan.
I agree with Pastor Wells.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Believe it or not, it is. Let me get this here. There we go. Close to 40,000 per month. And that's,
What?
yeah. On the Apple App Store, roughly 40,000 apps released each month. Yeah, that is serious. What about for the Google Play Store? So anybody who has an Android, how many apps do you think are released on the Google Play Store?
That's me. Let's say 39,000.
Okay. Who else? Anyone else? Any other takers? No more? Okay. Here it is. 113. 113,000 apps within.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's an average. So sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but that's on average. That's what they're releasing each month. And I think these numbers are as early as last year versus this year, or kind of earlier this year. So this is, fairly up to date info. Yeah, so a lot of stuff there. All right, switching gears. Let's switch gears a little bit. Social media. Let's talk about social media. Social media is a very
I had
controversial
a question
topic.
about that.
Oh,
I had a
yes.
question about it.
Please go ahead.
We were talking about the number of apps that were being developed each month, released each month. What is the purpose of the development of all, what affects the increase in number of apps being developed each month?
You know what? That's a very good question. There is always okay, so you all know that. Let's look at it on a major scale. Let's see how to break this answer down. You think about how we communicate today. Most of us have the cell phone in our, not the cell phone, but the landline that's in our house, the phone that it's plugged into the wall somewhere, and it's either a remote, remote phone, or it's a, plugged in. I don't think we have any more plugged into the wall, but at least all of them are like portable phones in the house. That's what we call a landline. Well, that kind of ties you to your house. Everybody now has a cell phone, and they're always on the go. And most people, if you're like me, you don't even have a house phone, you only have your cell phone. So the more mobile people become, the more convenient it is for people to be mobile and not have to be tied at home to get access to information, to make a phone call, to pull up information on the internet. I mean, you now have cell phone usage, you now have, meaning calls, calls on your phone, you have access to the internet, everything, American, and I think America is probably the leader of faster, more efficient, quicker. We're just impatient. So we want things now. And so when that demand grows from, hey, okay, this is nice, I can get to my website. But once people realize, I got to get on my computer, I got to get next to Wi-Fi, I got to get to the internet on my laptop in order to get information, then they become a little bit more antsy. So now they want more convenience, they want more efficiency. And so demands start increasing for a mobile app. I will give you a personal example. Before I moved into the house I live in now, I was in a townhome, and all of my bills, as far as like the utilities and mortgage and all that type stuff, I was able to, kind of pay for it online, going on the computer, but I also had a mobile app. And so the city, the local city, they didn't have an app. It was really, really, clunky system online. I had to be on my laptop to pay that bill. And it got really irritating. So of course, I'm gonna make, when are you guys gonna get an app? When are you guys gonna get an app? Because I'm traveling all the time. Everybody knows I travel a lot before COVID. And I need to be able to pay my stuff online. I'm not able. And so that anxiousness and eagerness, it's just like it came from me, it's coming from a lot of other people. And then you have people who they want to get their content in people's hands a lot faster. The laptops are great, but nothing gets in people's hands and in front of their face quicker than a cell phone. So the more people use their cell phone, the more information is going to be sent so that it can be viewed on the cell phone. How is it going to be viewed on the cell phone? A mobile app. So people are not going to stop, developing websites, but, and they'll still do that. But one of the things that's almost common now, if you get a website, you need to get an app because, to make life convenient for everyone. So there's new things that people want to do while they're on the go, and they want to do them fast and quick. And the quickest way to get them, put it in their hand. So I hope that answers the question somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still was trying to get more specifically what determined the growth in apps. In other words, what I guess if I understand your statement correctly, you're saying that the number of things that people want to do increases the number of apps that have to be created.
It's one of the main, I would say it's probably one of the biggest driving influences. Because people are not sitting still. I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, we'd be running even 10 times faster than what we were before COVID came. All we do is go and we want to do more, have more, see more while we're on the go. That's just kind of our nature in this day and time. And so the more that demand increases, and then mind you, I think I meant, no, I might not have mentioned it. Yeah, I did, about the paid. Apps are paid. Some apps are paid and some apps are free. And so there's a lot of money that people can make if you can actually get someone to interact with your software on their phone and charge a subscription fee for it. There's a lot of drivers to that. And even with some of the free mobile applications, it's free to the user using it, but there are companies that want to reach the user that's using the app. So they will pay an advertising fee to the software developer and say, hey, let me advertise on your app. And then next thing you know, so there are a lot of factors that drive why apps are developed and what goes into the content. So it could be just a normal everyday thing, but because, people want to reach more people with their products and services, they're going to push it out however they can. I mean, you have to think about it. It's called channels. It's a channel. One way I can reach you is an advertisement on the TV. Another way I can reach you is a billboard in an airport. Another way I can reach you is on the internet. But you have to rely on a person turning on the TV. You have to rely on a person walking by your billboard. You have to rely on them opening their laptop and going on the internet to see what you need. Almost everybody is carrying around a cell phone now. So with everyone wanting to carry around a cell phone, it's a lot easier to get their attention with something, if they are interested in that, right? Okay, someone who just doesn't care about their health is not going to download a health app. Anyone who cares about their health and is always on the go, they're going to be looking for apps around, and that's going to drive it. It's another way of getting information out there. And now with everybody's, I would say, addiction to a certain extent of mobile phones and cell phones, and just a great need. It's a great invention, but some people are addicted to it, and that's kind of what drives a lot of things too.
I think I got pretty much what you're saying. The apps like fulfill the demand for the needs that we have. For example, since we're traveling all the time, I like to keep up with the sports. Well, an app was developed, like ESPN app or Spectrum app, was created so that I can watch sports while I'm traveling, or I don't have to wait till I get home. Is that kind of what we're doing?
It is. It is. It's very much so. And I think another piece to add to your statement or your clarification on it is, if you go to a website, I talked about a website in our last seminar. If you go to the website, there's a lot of information on there. We have someone would probably need to mute their line. Okay. But there's a lot of information on a web page. I mean, just a lot. And sometimes users want to just listen. I like your website. I'll come there when I need all of that info. Right now, I just need to do this, this, and this. If I want to go to my utility company and I want to see my usage, I want to see a nice pretty graph and what I used last month versus this month, and I want to download that information, yeah, then I'm going to go ahead and go to the website. But then if I just want to pay my bill, please let me pay my bill and let me see my balance and give me a confirmation. A mobile app is a prime use for that. So it almost scales down the amount of information to the bare necessities too. If you're talking about a website versus a mobile app, it could be the same information there, but it's just, hey, this is just what you need right here in your phone while you're out on the go. You can do this, this, and this, and you'll start to see where a company or an organization, just like our church, we have a lot of information on our website. It doesn't make sense to put all of that in our mobile app. We want to put just what you need in the mobile app. So you hit a few words when you said the information that people need. Very much so, yeah, if you make it more specific, it's the absolute information they need to do whatever they need to do. If they want to do more, most times they can go on a website and do more.
Yeah, because it's the wide world, as you say, wide world web, with all of that information. And even the Bible said that knowledge will be increased in these last days. So all that information is out there, but it sounds like you're saying that to make it simple for us who don't know a lot about technology, they create the app. And instead of us having to go through all the World Wide Web to find stuff, we go into the app, and the app kind of gives us manageable information for us computer weak ones.
Well, you know, if you take a look at your cell phone screen, any of you take a look at your cell phone screen, if you've taken the time, of course, a lot of things are given to you on your phone that you probably don't need. But if you've learned to customize, you may move your calendar and your contact book and your camera and your photos to the home page. You'll do that. You'll drag and drop if anyone showed you. We can talk about that in later sessions, but what you want to know the most is right here on your phone. So you're going to customize what you want to see and do on your phone. I mean, when you're going on the internet, you got to know exactly where you want to go. But on your cell phone, there's a piece of software that takes me straight to my contacts. I don't have to go searching and just click on contacts, click on a name. If I, and it's very direct. So it's a nice way to bring you from a lot of information on the World Wide Web to very specific use, very specific interaction with your phone for purpose, certain purpose, health, entertainment, ordering online, whatever the case may be.
Thank you.
Okay. So now moving along, talking about social media. Social media is basically a website. It's a website, it's an application, but it has a certain purpose. It enables people that are on that website, we call them users, to create and share content, interact with each other. It's communication, it's sharing pictures, it's sharing video, it's having conversations. It's all about social. So, we sit in a house, in a house get together, and we will have a communication. We may pull out our phone and share a picture on our phone and with the people that we're talking to. Well, people who live far away in other states that you really love, you're really close to, or, just acquaintances, or just the general public, you may want to share a picture or a statement or a thought, whatever the case may be. Whatever you would do in these environments in person, you actually would now be doing, here on social media. So it's all about sharing information, networking, and it's all for social purposes. Easy layman's terms, website is social media is a website for people to socialize on. That's it. Now, there are different types of social interactions, and that's what we're going to talk about here real quick. It has roots in the early, actually before this timeline here. This timeline I found was pretty, extensive. But it talks about, how the bulletin board system, which was, back in the, 1978, but there are early, I would say early flickers of social media back in the 1840s. Really, you start with the telegraph. That's how people connected in the United States, right? Plato is the name of a system that was launched in 1960. It was developed by the University of Illinois, and it was commercially marketed by a company called Control Data Corporation. It basically offered social media features like notes, messages, back and forth, instant messaging, and things of that nature, a chat room, a news report. And this is like in the 1970 era, back at that time. Then later on, fast forward almost like 20 years, we're talking about chat rooms. So chat rooms is really just people you see on a screen, one person talking a message, another person responding to it, back and forth, chat, 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 chat. Almost like a text message, but it was on a computer screen. And so that's what you saw kind of like in the late 1900s. Then social media, fast forward to today, social media as we know today, it really started, as you can see here on the screen, in the early 2000s. What we recognize as social media, LinkedIn, which is a professional networking website for a lot of businesses and corporations. You have Facebook that came very shortly after that. Things of that nature. YouTube came down the line, Yelp, Twitter, all these different types of social media platforms came along in the early 2000s. But really, truly, the first one was called 6 Degrees. I'm trying to see if it's on this. I don't know if 6 Degrees is spelled out on here, 1985. I don't know which one. No, that's AOL. But 6 Degrees is actually the true first social media. It was like in 1997. It's not really on this map here, but 6 Degrees, it allowed people to upload pictures, connect with each other. They could send messages back and forth to each other, and kind of all in the hopes of finding how they're connected to people in the first, second, third degree. I know you by one person, that's the first year. I know you as a person, that's first degree. I know you through this person, that's a second degree. So that's kind of what 6 Degrees was all about. But 2003 is when the real, what we call our social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all those things came in the early 2000s. So after that, there's a social platform for everything. You have TikTok, which people do all these dances to a song. You have Pinterest, which anybody who loves to decorate or get ideas on how to design something or dress or whatever. Pinterest is a social media platform for idea sharing. Share pictures, and this is how you can redo your house. This is how you can redo your bathroom. And it gives you brilliant ideas. So I know a lot of people, because we hear a lot about social media, it carries a very negative connotation because the people behind it. But really understand that social media is just a website for people to interact socially on. It could be for professional social interactions or true, purely, non-business, non-professional social interactions. And it could be for collaboration, but it's really about the people that are behind it. So if the people behind social media have alternative agendas, yes, it's going to be a bad thing in that case. But if you have people who are, Facebook, if you all watch the movie, I think it was called The Social Network or something like The Social, it shows the true story of how Facebook was invented. And all Mark Zuckerberg wanted to do was help people connect and get to know someone, people that they know that they haven't been able to connect with, but then also people that they don't know. You want to learn a little bit about them and maybe work up to getting to know them. It's a personal story for him behind that, but it really is about connecting people. I mean, we live too far away. We don't get to see each other. Our lives go in different directions and we're in different circles. You don't get to connect. These social media platforms allow people to do that. Hopefully they're using them responsibly. Sometimes they're not. We all know how that goes. I want to pause. Any questions about social media? I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of brief history to show how it started from its basic, uses, and then it's kind of just evolved again as the internet evolved and people came up with ideas. Hey, let's connect people this way, or hey, let's give this to people so they can do whatever. That's kind of how these platforms developed. It's just ideas and software developers behind them. Yes.
Zoom, is that a social media platform?
It's a telecommunications platform. It can be used for social connections and stuff, but it was really the primary purpose was teleconferencing or video conferencing. So Zoom, which is what you all know we are utilizing here and we use as part of our live stream setup. Zoom is actually kind of the teleconference video conference. It's not a live stream platform. It can be utilized as a live stream platform, but it is basically for conference call, either audio or video conference calling. And it allows you to collaborate. So it's I would say it's more so productivity. It's used more so for productivity purposes, but it has obviously, as we all have seen, been transformed into education platform, of learning, social, where people connect. I'll, be the first. Our family just had a virtual family reunion on Monday through Zoom. So it can be used for all those platforms, but the primary purpose is audio and video conferencing and allowing you to share your ideas across your documents and things of that nature across the internet.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Pastor Nathan can't be the only one.
Well, it's Sister Nathan here. So when we say social media, these are platforms where people are just social. They just share ideas, pictures, congratulations, stuff like that. Instagram is social media.
All social media, yeah. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. A lot of people are surprised to hear LinkedIn is associated with social, but it is. It's social networking, but it's the type of people that are drawn to it that makes it a little bit different flavor. Business professionals, organizations. It's not meant for the true let your hair down social type interaction. It is definitely meant where business people can connect with each other, share ideas about business, or encourage each other socially as they go about their business and organizational plights. So okay. So
I have another question.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
I'm looking at the diagram, and in 2006, it says Facebook opens to the public. At the bottom, it shows a picture of a church. What is the relationship?
Nothing. Yeah, that's just a separate application called My Church. My Church was an application that came out, a social platform that came out around that time. I actually haven't heard a lot about My Church, but Facebook here. So it was released in 2004. I know this because of the movie, actually. Facebook was originally meant for or developed within an educational, how do you say it, environment. A student or a couple of students, if you read the true story, a couple of students developed this website that allowed people to meet each other back and forth, talk to each other and connect. The idea was stolen. Let's just call it truth. Idea was stolen and improved upon, so to speak. And so it was started with just one campus. I think it was Harvard, or I don't want to say which one it was. I'm probably wrong, but it started one school campus and then it spread to other school campuses that were kind of in that Ivy League setting. And so, of course, that started attracting investors. The concept itself started attracting investors. And that's when they said it was open to the public, because they were doing different versions for different schools and students on that campus to connect and get to know each other. So
is there a social media platform that churches can use?
I'm sure there is one that is for churches. However, it's not popular, because you don't hear a lot of churches using a church, a social media platform dedicated just for churches. I'm sure my church was one of them. Honestly, most churches are using Facebook, that by far, for social media.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Okay, time for a fun fact. How many, so get ready to unmute your lines if you haven't unmuted them yet, try to unmute your lines. How many new social media users are there per second? So how many people come onto social media and they're new to it per second? This is gonna get you. You can take a guess.
1 billion.
Per second, okay, yeah. Good guess. Anyone else? No one else? All right, let's
I think 2 billion.
2 billion per second. Okay, let's put it in context. I'm going to walk you through this. For context, as of December 2019, total worldwide population, we're just talking about how many people on the planet, 7.8 billion. The internet itself has 4.5 billion users. So nearly half of the people on the planet are using the internet in one way or another. 3.725 billion people are active social media users. Active meaning they go on it more than once. It's not a one-time login, but they are using social media on a frequent or regular, very frequent basis. On average, you have about 7.6 everyone on average. Now, this is, of course, some low, some high. On average, people have about 7.6 social media accounts. When I saw this, I started counting on. I got Facebook, we got Instagram, I got YouTube. YouTube is a social media platform if you have an account. I have Twitter, even though I don't use it. Pinterest, I'm at 5 already. And then if I pull up 1 or 2 more, LinkedIn, I have LinkedIn, that's 6. And so I'm sure there's a 7th in there. That's not bad. They're pretty accurate. Okay. The average daily time spent is 142 minutes a day on social media. The average daily time spent by people is 142 minutes per day. Average always meaning some more, some less. 91% of retail brands, so everybody trying to sell something, right? They use 2 or more social media platforms. So they're going to go out either through Facebook, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, some kind of way. They're going to go try to put their products out there in the market. Then you have 81% of small and medium businesses use some type of social platform. And I reckon, I don't know for sure, but I can't imagine that does not include churches, as an organization. But 81% of small and medium businesses use some type of social media platform. And when you think about it, here's the next one. Social media users, it grew. The number of users grew 328 million between October of 2018 and October of last year. Okay. When you work out the math, taking all this into consideration, that works out to about 10 new social media users per second. So the billion was out, that's kind of high per second. We'd probably be in trillions or gazillions if that was the case, but 10 new social media accounts or users per second. New, that's new. Okay. So interesting, right? All right. I wanted to show you just a chart I love data. I think data kind of speaks volumes. It always puts things into perspective. And for people to understand, I know this wording at the bottom is small, but it's the number of active users, people who use these social media platforms on a regular. I also like this one because it allows you to see the different types of app. And this is not all of them. Okay. Obviously, this is just the top rankings. The most popular social networks worldwide as of just July this year, and it's ranked by number of active users. Facebook by far. That's why the guy is so rich. YouTube, because everybody puts, videos and content on YouTube. WhatsApp, that's a communication. It's tied neck and neck with YouTube, even though YouTube is for video and watching, and WhatsApp is for almost like text messaging without a cell phone plan, so to speak, whatever. Facebook Messenger, there's a chat, Instagram, TikTok, all of these, and this is in the millions. So we're talking about 2 billion here with WhatsApp, 2.6 billion with Facebook. There's a lot of people using social media. It's not all bad. Some of it is, but there's a lot going on. So I just kind of wanted to put it in perspective how influential social media is. It really connects people. It allows people to connect. It allows people to interact in ways they would never get a chance to if it didn't exist. So that's the one thing you want to keep in mind about social media.
I have a question.
Yes.
The page before this page here mentioned the number of billions of people. Could you go back one page?
Mm-hmm.
It tells the number of users. Can you turn back one page?
I think this is the one. This is it here. Has it updated on your side yet?
No, it's the one before that.
Oh, I had the definition.
You had that page is 7.8 billion. Is that worldwide or is that
worldwide?
United States.
That is the population worldwide.
Okay. As of population worldwide is 7.8 billion.
Yes.
Now, and the reason I'm asking this is because I'm trying to relate this to the scriptures, because in the 24th chapter of St. Matthew's, it tells us that when the gospel has been preached throughout the world, when the gospel has been preached, then shall the end come. My question is in reference to whether this internet and this World Wide Web, social media and sources like this has helped us get that gospel out to the entire world. And if so, that phase of the Lord's coming back has been done. If you say that there are 7.8 billion people in the world, I'm thinking that's what you mean, right? Mm-hmm. But there are 4.54 billion users.
Yeah.
Users. Then there's approximately 3 more billion people that either has to get the word from some other source other than technology, than the 4.54 billion that we already have using it. Because if they are using it, chances are they're getting the gospel through technology.
Yes. If it could be TV too. So mind you, TV hasn't gone away. So that other 3, we're talking about 4.5 billion versus I like to round it up, 8 billion versus 5 billion. So we're talking about a difference of 3 billion. There's still TV. There's still TV. There's still radio. So there are ways that these people can still
be evangelism.
Evangelism.
So with those possibilities, that 3 billion, the 7.8 billion, everybody should have heard the gospel by now.
It would be difficult for them to have not heard some.
That's a good way to say it. That's a good way to say it. It would be
difficult. Now they may turn it off when they hear it, because some of them I don't want to hear that stuff, or some may be, oh my gosh, that's what I need. But it's been preached. So I would not even just take these numbers. If you take the 8 billion. You have the internet, you have, live streaming, which is of course through use of the internet. You have TV, radio, like you said, evangelism. That's three or four or five different ways right there that people can hear the word. And if we as Christians are doing our job to get it out there, you know, we pretty much have delivered the message. That's if I say the word, if we've been doing our job the right way. So
Thank you.
yes, this is really good. This is really good and discussion here. Okay. The last topic I wanted to mention, we won't spend a lot of time on it because, I mean, shucks, you guys are utilizing this technology. Most of you are utilizing it right now as we speak. Live stream. All live stream is a live video transmission of an event over the internet. We all watch TV and we've seen the pre-recorded programs. Sometimes the sports events were shown on TV live, but that was through a television, you know, television screen or television, you know, floor model or whatever you have, the big screens now. That was the way to watch things live. Now with the internet, you can watch it live on your computer. You can watch it live on your cell phone. You can watch it live on an iPad or a tablet of some sort. And with that, now people can be, see my layman's terms here, watching something live on a computer or mobile device without being there. You can watch it, feel like you're there, and you don't have to be in your living room watching TV or in your bedroom watching TV. You can be taking a walk. Maybe someone's well, it's dark outside now. They're probably not watching our live stream outside, but maybe they're on the treadmill and they're listening to our live stream. Or maybe on Sunday morning, somebody's out taking a walk and they're watching our live stream. They don't have to be tied to their TV. That's what you're transmitting a video live, but you're doing it for people to view on a mobile device or even a computer. It can be a computer as well. So that's the basic terms. I picked this picture because it's kind of similar to what you guys see as a result of what we do on Sundays. Now, of course, we don't have a band and all these lights in our church, nice and fancy there, but you have some people performing or singing or doing something, speaking. There's a phone or a device capturing it right here on the right-hand side, and there's a phone here that shows the same picture being transmitted and looked at on a cell phone. It could have been a laptop, it could have been a tablet, but that's a perfect definition. A live event, it's being captured by video and on a separate device is now being watched at the same time. That's live stream. The first live stream, believe it or not, is like 27 years old. You know, it was Xerox. They were kind of hosting a small show in California when they were engineering some new technology and they were trying to broadcast it over the internet. And they had a band at this event. And it was kind of almost by accident, but their show started streaming live over the internet. And it was a little later, about 1 year later, the Rolling Stones took that and they were able to do a live concert. Another one that came on scene was the streaming of a company called Real Networks. I don't know if you all have heard of them, but it was founded by Microsoft executive, and they were the first to broadcast a baseball game. So sports, here's now sports coming in. The one game between the New York Yankees and the Seattle Mariners in 1995. And they were responsible for the launch of Real Player, which was streaming video technology. YouTube is really the platform that made live streaming into what we know today and very much catered to you know, how we watch content. YouTube is a part of our live stream setup. Some people are watching it now on live stream, on YouTube. And the first YouTube live stream was in 2008. But mind you, YouTube is a social platform. So it was one way for people to share information, but it was videos. And they basically started out sharing videos, pre-recorded videos, putting it on the internet. And you get to watch and see and learn about different things through videos. Then they came out with the live stream in 2008 after that. Okay. So one thing about live stream, it's you know, sent and transmitted live as the event is going on, but it's also recorded at the same time. And it can be watched anywhere at any time, obviously, because, you know, it's recorded, you can pick it up and watch it again later. It was a live stream, but now you can watch that previously recorded live stream anytime, anywhere. And a lot of times people refer to it as streaming. Are they streaming the service? Are they live streaming the service? I want to throw these terms out there so you all understand. It's abbreviated. Live stream is a lot of times abbreviated to streaming because it may refer to any type of media that's delivered and played back simultaneously. So I think live streaming is a better phrase because it talks about an event, something that's happening live, and that's more common to people. So it's the cool thing about live stream. Anyone can do it. If you get on any one of these social media platforms, you can live stream as a person, or a company can put on a big production via live stream, or a very reputable church like True Holiness can live stream their service. So from small to great in size and large in numbers, anyone can live stream, and it can drive money, you know, revenue for people, because sometimes people will, you know, companies will put on a show live stream and they'll have advertisements pop up. Well, those advertisements are paying for that live stream to go live and all the engineering stuff behind it to make it be functional. And then some of them are free, like our live streams are free. We're going to give the gospel out for free. We're not going to charge for live stream. That's not what we're here for. We're here to give the gospel freely, make it easy, and you know, get the word out, as Pastor Nathan was alluding to earlier. But that's just a little brief history of how it developed. There's so much more history out there, but for the sake of time, we're already running over. I wanted to just make sure I gave you a little bit of, you know, information about it. And of course, in style, you know, kind of talked about the timeline a little bit, but here's showing you, you can kind of see in reference to our 21st century, the earliest version of what we know live stream to be is around the early 2000s with YouTube and the live stream company. Then you had what is this, Instagram, that came in 2013 with their live. I mean, Instagram is just that young. It's not old, it's young, if you ask me. Just 7 years ago. Periscope was another one. I believe North Carolina Revival Deliverance Center, Bishop Bowen, and they were using Periscope. They're now using another platform for live streaming their services. Facebook Live came on the scene later on in 2016. And now, you know, Instagram has their lives. So an even different type of live. I mean, technology is changing so much. It's really hard to keep up. Just because I work in the tech industry does not mean I know everything about it, but they have a new live something every time you turn around. But that's just a little bit of history. You know, its live stream is really very young, I would say, compared to a lot of the rest of the technology we've been studying. Fun fact, how much, unmute your lines, how much of the US population has viewed live stream content? This is a good one, just percentage. So we're looking for a percentage here. How much of just the US, the United States population, has viewed live stream content? They've live streamed it, meaning people will say, I live streamed it, meaning I watched it via live stream, or I viewed via live stream something. Percentage.
95%.
95%. Okay, that's a good guess. Who else? No one else? Take a guess.
100%.
100%. Yeah, I wish. Who else? Huh? So we got 95%, 100%. Anyone else? Any other takers? 6%? Was that 6?
Yeah.
80%.
Okay, 80%. Mother Warren says 80%. Let's see where we stand. Oops. 42%. And that's something. 42% of the US population has now live streamed content, meaning they have looked at content, a video, a person, an event, or something via live stream. That is a big increase from just 3 years ago, because 3 years ago in 2017, only 25% had viewed live stream content. So remember what I said, live stream, I think, is a very young technology compared to where technology started back in the early, or late 1800s and stuff. It's still a new technology that is being improved upon more and more and more. I mean, it's really gone far from when it first came on the scene in the early 2000s, but it's still fairly young. So you think more. That's why all the guesses were really high, 80, 90, 100%, but it's really just 42. Interesting fun fact, right? If we can get 42% of the population to listen to our messages that bless our soul every week, we'd be doing all right. All righty. Okay. So what I want to, I don't have a lot of time to demonstrate everything. I will show you really quick a couple of things, but the tips and tricks, what Pastor Nathan has asked the technology team to do going forward is to prepare more technology topics. We will go into, instead of trying to cover so many at one time in one of these sessions, we'll pick a couple of topics. We're going to send out a survey very soon to find out some of the things you all want to know more about. Where we can increase your knowledge. We don't want you to suffer for lack of knowledge. We will help to do that in any way possible. Searching the internet for information. I know it may sound basic to some of you, but that is, kind of knowing the tips and tricks around how to search for information and get what you want out of that internet. There's some key tips and tricks to that. Some of the other things I wanted to share with you all: downloading and uploading mobile apps. If you get an Android, you get a lot of apps on your phone, which is why I don't like Androids. Some of that stuff you don't even need. Sometimes you want to get rid of it. You want to get rid of some of it and just tailor it to what you want. iPhones, you have to add more because you don't get a lot of them on there. So we'll talk about mobile apps and how to customize your phone. We're going to make sure that the THDT app, like my phone, is right on your homepage, of course, in that seminar. And then, of course, creating and using a social media account responsibly. True Holiness Deliverance Tabernacle has a Facebook page. We do not utilize the Facebook Live right now because we want to make sure, there's a lot of things about Facebook Live that people need to be aware of. And so we'll talk about that in later. I think that actually warrants a discussion, how we get our message out. And Pastor Nathan, I'm sure he has some thoughts about that. We'll prepare a discussion on that. But these are just a few of the topics that we want to talk about in the future, not tonight. I wanted to be able to show a demonstration of the app during this this session, and also our social media account on Facebook, how we utilize it. But what I will do is that I thought about it earlier. I said, if we run out of time, I can just create a video and put a video link out there on our YouTube channel. We can also send a link out to you all through our app. We're not using text messages anymore. Last week was the last week for that. So we will make sure that if you do need the information and you cannot get it through the app, just, of course, please call myself at 678-478-0011. Brother Travis Nelson at 321-696-2460. We will make sure you get access to the information if you're having trouble. We've already been on one-on-one calls with different people, and for the most part, I believe we've gotten everybody straight. Minister Ted is, sorry, he don't let me call him minister, but that's my brother, Ted, Travis. We've pretty much gotten everybody up to speed who's called us. So I would venture to say that if you're having trouble and you haven't called us, it's probably because you need calls. So with that being said, I always want to acknowledge our technology team who supports us in everything we do. Minister Charles Smith, Charity McKenzie, Jaquan Reeves, Sister Jenny Wilson. When we were in services, she was helping us with our videoing. Tyreek Lawson and Travis Nelson, who is our co-lead on the team. So I hope you all learned a little bit of something. I think Pastor Nathan wanted to make sure we understood the impact of technology and how it can impact what we're here to do, and that is to save souls and to preach the gospel. But if you don't know how to use it, how are you going to be able to even do that much? We're here in the pandemic, can't go out, can't do much. It would be helpful if we know how to chat or send messages or send emails to people and talk to them and communicate about their situation. So this is kind of why we're doing this. I hope you all felt like it was useful and you learned a thing or two, if not more, and you are looking forward to the next sessions that we are planning to have for you. So thank you for your time. I'm Pastor Nathan. I'll turn it back over to you. If you have any questions or comments for those that are here on the call. Don't forget to unmute your line if you, because we can't hear you right now. So your phone might be muted.
Oh yeah, you turned it back to me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank God for Sister Ayana, Nathan, and her team for preparing this technology update for us. And I'm telling you, saints, you may not think that you need it now, those that are not using it, but you will need it. It's the difference between a cassette player and whatever they came after that, because they won't even use it. As a matter of fact, you'll be asking people, what will I play this cassette player on? So technology is going that direction as well with the stuff that's out there. So we're going to have to get it. If we're going to help our children, we're going to have to know some technology. These children, they've been trained in it. They're raised in it. So we're trying to bridge the gap by filling in the older people, the older ones, the ones that are not in the what they call the millennium generation. So we hope that you take advantage of these opportunities that we're providing for you. We saw the perfect situation that happened today with trying to help one of our little children. Now you say, well, I don't have any children in the school, but you got grandchildren or you got nieces and nephews. You need to be able to help them. And that's what we're all about. The church is about helping folk. So I'm hoping that you would take advantage of getting this knowledge and this information that's out there in order that we can help our children get through this world, because I'm telling you, this world is going to leave them behind if they don't understand what's happening and how to use this technology. So I just want to thank the team for their work, and we're hoping that you would study your work, because I'm in a few more weeks, maybe 4 or 5 weeks down the road, we're going to bring the technology team back with some more things for you to work on. Right now, I want you to start memorizing your assignment for next Wednesday, which is the 6 steps to salvation, and also witnessing to 3 saints utilizing the 6 steps of salvation. Now, if you don't give God's word first priority, I'm afraid that he's not going to give you first priority in front of the Lord, Jesus, in front of God. So he said, I'll hear you when you hear me. Now, memorizing the scripture is important to witnessing, because it's not you that's going to win the soul. It's going to be the word that wins the soul. And when you present his word to the people, then that's when God delivers. So I'm asking you to memorize just the 6 steps of salvation and the scripture that go with them, and then practice using them on somebody by next Wednesday. 3 saints preferably. That's why I say practice, because if you're witnessing to a sinner, I don't want you to practice. I want you to know what you're doing, because that'll bring some repercussions that you're not able to handle if you are going to them not ready. So I'm asking that you do that, and we're going to end here. I thank God again for each one of you that participated, those that were listening in. You may not have said anything, but we just thank God for you, and we hope that you have been blessed in some kind of way. I think that's all of the announcements that I have. May God have a blessing to you, and may heaven smile upon you is my prayer. You may socialize as much as you can, or fellowship as much as you can at this time. God bless you.
God bless you, saints. Okay. Thank you all. Have a good night.
God bless everyone. Good night.
God bless everyone.
Good night.
Good night. God bless you.
Love you, Mother Warren. God bless you.
Yes, can I get my telephone? Somebody gonna have to help me.
We will be there to help you, Mother Warren. We already have you on the list to be one of our first stops, so you'll be able to use live stream and everything.
Praise God. So that needs to know all this.
Let me tell you something, Mother Warren, before you leave. My grandmother, Miss Ruthie Nathan, she's 94 years old and she has an iPhone, and with 2 clicks, she's able to dial into our live stream services on Sunday, and she's going crazy because she's been listening to it on the phone, just like you. And because she had an iPhone and I had a chance to come down there, I set it up for her to be able to to watch the service from her phone and not have to put the phone to her ear. So yes. So we will make sure that you are set to go. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If she can do it, you know you can. So we'll get you set up.
Yeah, I hope so.
God bless you, Mother Warren. We love you.
All right, I love y'all too. Thank y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love you.
Bye, Brother Charles.